Chapter 2. The Expansion of British Power. India was a significant trading centre. Goods were exported and imported from distant lands of the world through seas and land. Merchants and traders from Europe and different parts of Asia came to India regularly. In the beginning, individual merchants traded with India. They did not get any kind of support from their respective countries. It continued till the early 17th century. The scenario of trading activities changed after the involvement of the governments of respective countries in trade activities. Many European countries began to form trading companies to trade with the East. The East India Company was one of them. It was formed in England in 1600 after getting a charter from Queen Elizabeth I to trade with the East. Important trading companies in India. From the 17th century onward, trading companies from Portugal, Holland, England, France and Denmark began to set up their base in India. They established their trading centers in different parts of the country, especially in the coastal areas. Trade rivalry among the European companies. An intense rivalry occurred among the European countries for obtaining their control over the Indian markets of spices, cotton, silk, indigo, saltpeter, etc. All of them wanted to buy these goods at low prices in India and sell them at very high prices elsewhere, particularly in Europe. Since profits from trade were huge, each European country vied for a greater share of this trade. However, the quantum of trade was not sufficient to sustain all the companies. Slowly and gradually, the profits earned by them began to shrink. The only way to increase profits was by eliminating competitors and ensuring a trade monopoly. The companies which had the support of their respective governments set out to do just that. They built their own armies and were not averse to using force to achieve their goals. In course of time, the Portuguese, the Dutch, and the Danes were ousted from the Indian trade. The English and the French became the key players, dominating trade between India and Europe. Anglo-French rivalry. Trade rivalry between the British and the French resulted in successive wars between them. These wars also commonly known as the Carnatic Wars. Since most battles were fought in the region within the present state of Tamil Nadu, the English and the French clashed thrice in the Carnatic. The wars lasted for nearly 20 years, 1744 to 1763. After this, the French ceased to be a strong political force in India. The way was clear for the establishment of British power in India. The beginning of British expansion in India. The English East India Company in the 17th century sent requests to the Mughal emperors for trade concessions and privileges. After the death of Aurangzeb, the Mughal Empire became weak. Taking advantage of this, the officials of the company began to intensify their operations in Bengal, the richest of the Indian provinces. In 1717, they succeeded in obtaining the right to import and export goods without paying customs duty. In the first half of the 18th century, the conflict between the Nawabs of Bengal and the company intensified. Bengal at that time was ruled by Murshid Quli Khan, Shujauddin, and then Alivardi Khan. They tried to keep the officials of the company in check. Alivardi Khan laid two conditions which the company had to obey or lose its right to trade in Bengal. The company, however, had by this time become very strong. After the military successes against the French, both in Europe and in India, it was feeling even more confident. To expand trade and secure markets, it now decided to annex territories in India. When Siraj-ud-Dawla became the Nawab of Bengal, matter became worse in 1756. He asked the company to remove all its fortifications in Calcutta. The company refused to do so. So the Nawab sent his troops and occupied the company's factories in Calcutta. The British officials were alarmed at this development. They decided to depose Siraj-ud-Dowlah and install a puppet Nawab in his place. This resulted in a war. Battle of Plassey, 1757. The Battle of Plassey occurred on 23rd June 1757 between the armies of Siraj-ud-Dowlah and the English East India Company. The British forces were led by Robert Clive, Mir Jafar, the commander-in-chief of the Nawab, and a large section of the Nawab's army loyal to Mir Jafar did not take part in the battle. Siraj-ud-Dowlah was defeated, imprisoned, and later killed. The British made Mir Jafar the Nawab of Bengal. The Battle of Plassey is an important landmark in the history of India. It marked the first step in the transformation of a small trading company into a supreme political power. Battle of Buxar, 1764. After being defeated by the British, Mir Qasim fled to Awadh. He formed an alliance with Shuja-ud-Dowlah, the Nawab of Awadh, and Shah Alam II, the Mughal emperor. The combined armies met the British forces at Buxar on 22nd October 1764. The Indian army was defeated. A treaty was signed and Shah Alam II granted the company the Diwani of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. Shuja-ud-Dowlah was made to pay 50 lakh rupees as war damages. Mir Qasim was deposed. Mir Jafar was made the Nawab once again.